It is time.
So are you familiar with DOMi and JD Beck, AC?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Have you ever seen them live before?
I have. I did. I saw them at, was it Bowery Ballroom in the Lower East Side a couple years back. It was, I think they opened up for Lewis Cole. I think it was a Lewis Cole project, the drummer from Nowhere.
Nowhere, right.
Yeah, but they were in town, and I was like, I gotta check them out. And they destroyed it. They did the ridiculous version of Giant Steps, is a John Coltrane song.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a jazz staple. And they deconstructed it and built it back up and did all the things with it that you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of MF Doom, and I remember when they first came on the scene with those YouTube videos of them doing various covers and things like that, and they did like a medley of Mad Villainy, which I think that like they kind of ran through a few of their songs, which I thought was really cool, and they've been on my radar ever since. And so,
R.I.P. MF Doom.
Yes, I love MF Doom. I've gotten to play. We listened to him with Michael Minert from Pretty Lights music on the show, which was a treat. I'm definitely going to bring him back on the show soon.
Special Herbs, man, volume 1 through 9, bro. Let's go.
yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. I'm right there with you, bro.
Thank you. And so this is actually DOMi and JD Beck featuring Herbie Hancock. This is from their July 29th, 2022 album, Not Tight. This is DOMi and JD Beck featuring Herbie Hancock. We're sitting here listening with Alric Carter from Tauk, and this is Moon right here on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
Let's get it.
I love how dry the drums sound and like natural.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's the phrasing of the vocals. It reminds me a lot of like Stevie Wonder, actually, in the way that it's being.
I could see that.
performed. I really, 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 really am digging this. And I didn't know. I was listening to some songs off this. I didn't know they did something with Herbie Hancock, and that's very, very cool.
Yeah, the vocals also remind me a lot of Jacob Collier. The way that he kind of puts together like those melodies and phrasings and things like that. And I also think that DOMi's another one of those keyboardists that plays with her feet, right? And does like the bass with her feet as well. So it's really hard to do that because it's like you're just like an octopus. You're kind of like all of your limbs like not only have to think about rhythm and timing and things like that, but you also have to think about the notes. And so I always think about that when I listen to DOMi and JD Beck because of just how talented that she has to be able to like keep up with a drummer like that because he kind of is able to do whatever the hell he wants to, right? And so like a drummer being able to do whatever the hell he wants to and without having like a whole complicated band behind him, like for example the Bad Plus, right? That drummer is like everywhere, but the only way that that could work is if you have other people that are able to keep up with him like that, and it's great that they have a duo that they're able to do that together.
Yeah.
What did you think, AC?
It was just a fly that hit me. I don't know where it came from. It was very aggressive.
Mr. Miyagi, that shit.
Do you see this?
But I don't really know what to say, to be honest. I'm just it's so good in a lot of ways. Like it's great to see the younger generation pick it up. Like to a certain extent, and then. Full circle, Herbie. I mean, how old is Herbie? Herbie came up in like what? I think he's born 38 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like in Chicago in the 40s, like it's a completely different thing.
Full
you really have
circle.
to, you got to think about his story too, as far as like one of the most, I mean, no pun intended, but he's like a chameleon, man. It's just like he's able to morph his music and change it as he goes out through the decade.
Right.
What a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Decades, from the Funk Hunters and the Washington Band to like all these other different projects that he has, and that like he can see the potential and just like the future in what JD Beck and DOMi are doing. I think I don't know if she's playing bass on her with her feet for this one, but I know that she's like I've seen her. There's videos of her on YouTube, like sight reading, like Thundercat bass solos. These are very difficult things to play, let alone if you have it memorized. But just exponentially increase the difficulty once you are sight reading those kind of things. So you're right though, Michael. She's just the ability to do whatever you want. And that's very apparent here. I don't know if you guys know about a record called Sunlight by Herbie Hancock. I think it came out in the 70s. But he has the kind of the vocoder thing that he's doing with it. And it's very reminiscent of that. And that was a very huge kind of fusion statement that I think Herbie made, where it was at the tightness of what now the drums are doing in this song, but it was completely different approach. What JD Beck is doing is really cool in this kind of linear drumming approach, which is kind of what Mark Juliana kind of lives into from time to time, most capable of doing. But he makes you feel like you're listening to Aphex Twin or Square Pusher, or some of these like bands that have like the glitch shit, and you're just like, wait, how are you able to do this? Keep pocket and keep phrasing, and then dance around, and then just have the vocabulary.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned Aphex Twin because I am getting kind of like avant-garde vibes from this, especially the last cut that we listened to that was your pick. I was getting kind of sort of like that kind of vibe where it was just, like left field and extremely prolific and doing things that are like totally off the beaten path, like with a purpose. And I also like how you mentioned Thundercat because the more that I listen to JD Beck and DOMi and when they're doing vocals, it reminds me a lot of like Mono Neon, where it's like this slice of life modern type of sentimentality when it comes to the lyrics. And, you know, they're talking about like, oh, I'm getting a text message and going down to the store and getting Cheetos, right? And like the thing is, I think that that's like a lot of like where music is going to, because emo music, like back in the day, was so prolific because it was like identifying with people. They were singing about their problems and like, you know, their life that people could identify with. And I feel like this is like the next wave of that kind of sentimentality where it's like talking about everyday things, you know, like I turned on Netflix or, you know, I ghosted this person I was talking to or whatever it is, this modern things that they're incorporating into the music, which I think is like another wave of being able to grab like the next generation of people 100%. To like be into what they're doing.
And next one's gonna be like, we just Netflix and chill.
No, but really that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
you better be careful. Mono Neon's gonna turn that into a song.
Yeah,
TM. That's kind of the point, you know. It's like, well, I mean, how many more love songs do you need to hear?
Exactly.
Like how many? Like, and think about where they're coming from, like generationally. It's like, you know, like it just keeps on repeating. Like I grew up, you know, we had the Backstreet Boys and singing that whole thing. Right. You know, it's just like you need to hear that again. Like Ariana Grande, like she's great too. You know, but like, what are we singing? What are we talking about?
Right.
Here? Right. So it's almost kind of like it doesn't. It's almost like I can sing or say whatever I want, but I'm also gonna layer it under this ridiculous musical. You know, kind of setting here. You know.
Right.
With because when did this come out? You said
this came out in July, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the whole generational thing, it's like you have this whole like speedy internet generation of like how quickly TikTok, how quickly musicians and people are able to connect and collaborate and like find these pairings and, you know, just like produce this really, really crisp, clear sound in like a matter of a month.
Right.
Or I mean even sometimes quicker. Like if it, you know, it just happens that way. But I feel like it just sounds so modern and like it's like you said, like bringing us into like a new like pivot in like the era of the direction that music is going in that way, like talking about everyday things.
Right. Like the thought process of like what music is trying to achieve. Like, are they trying to, because right now I feel like we're going through like a nostalgia wave where everyone's trying to like remember,
Paramore's
you know,
coming back.
like synth wave, right? And like vapor wave and like things like that, where it's like you're bringing back different elements that like try and make it sound old, right? Like a lot of artists are putting
or like Magic Beans, their whole Unzipped album, like running it through reel to reel and recording it on old ribbon microphones. And all that.
Exactly. They're trying to chase the different mediums that defined that generation, but I feel like that's kind of going behind us, and what's happening in the forefront is like what we're talking about right now, which is like, you know, essentially taking like modern slice of life, like everyday things, and putting it, you know, with that modern sentimentality and you know, forward music.
With that quickness of social media too, I feel like it's almost like improv, where it's like yes and like like, you know, like with the whole concept of like something like a duet or something like that. It's like with these really quick changes that you have, it's like you can just add more and pivot in so many different directions, and with the quickness of that, you just have it like a whole world opens up.
And I just also to your point, I think that it's easier to write about everyday things like that because it's so easy to make music now in terms of how cheap it is that you're able to get more ideas out. Right, like if you're only able to write one album every 5 years, then you're gonna write it a lot differently than if you're able to make an album in like a couple weeks,
or even just record a 60-second idea and put it on TikTok. That was something catchy that maybe shouldn't be on an album, but somebody would really like to listen to. Like, I don't know.
I mean, that it's crazy. It's I mean, what was the Spotify CEO's name? Was it Daniel? Is it Eck?
I don't know.
Anyway, but like, you know, I mean, he essentially came out. He was saying, you know, it's really quantity. The algorithm is going to respond to, right? So, you know, I think he said like the days of writing, you know, touring off 3 years on the record is, you know, kind of over, you know, as far as what the platform, you know, is concerned, you know. So it's just, it's different, you know. I'm not sure that's affecting these guys in terms of how they're creating, but I think when it comes down to it, these guys are just doing what they do. I think they're doing what feels natural. And I don't even know, I mean, I could be wrong, like they're musicians at the end of the day, but like I don't think they're overthinking this. It doesn't feel that way.
No, it feels
at all.
really natural.
Exactly, and it's because of that. Like guys like this, like King Gizzard.
Yeah.
Like these are these new kind of things that or sounds that are happening that seems to just be manifesting in a certain way. And I think it's definitely been the saving grace in music, in some of the rock and kind of jazz and pop mediums for sure.
Thank you so much for that insight. Let's keep it rolling. Hell yeah.
DOMi makes my brain smile.
Yeah, I liked how the way that she was playing off of herself. It was really, really interesting.
She's amazing.
Now it did. It sounds like Herbie did vocoder, right?
He did,
Yeah, that's what I think. So
did he play on this? Did he play keys on this?
Oh God, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I don't know if I heard this song yet. So thanks for putting me on.
We'll have to look into.
I heard another one that they did, but I was curious if you played on this.
Hi, this is Mike with Galaxy Jams Reacts. We hope that you enjoyed that React video. Be sure to check out the links below of when we're going to be live streaming our next show and also how to watch full episodes. Please hit that subscribe button. Every single one helps.